Hello everyone and welcome to another video. My name is Dooley Godot. I am your meteorologist and this is Elite Weather Forecasting. And thank you for joining the video today on this wonderful Tuesday afternoon. I hope you guys are having a great day out there as we talk about your weather forecast. Let you know what to expect as we approach the midpoint of the week there. You're almost halfway through your work week, but we're just going to let you know what to expect so that you can plan accordingly any outdoor activities, or maybe some of you may work outside. You may have to adjust some of your plans depending on your particular situation. And if you're watching on TikTok or YouTube, please feel free to leave your likes and comments and subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can click that follow right there on TikTok. And thank you for doing that for me and doing the needful as we're going to continue with today's video and jump into that very first map. We're going to start off today's video by talking about what we're seeing down in the tropics, as we may have a little bit of activity to talk about in the Gulf of Mexico, as well as some activity on the Pacific side. So in this map, we're looking at some activity in the Gulf of Mexico here, and we're looking at also along the the ICTZ, the Intercontinental Convergence Zone. So we're looking at Intertropical Convergence Zone, here across the tropics here. Here is some weather taking place. This is the state of Florida. So we're looking at some thunderstorms. There is Cuba right there. So we're looking at some thunderstorms here across the U.S. here. And we have an area of low pressure out over the Gulf, the south central Gulf of Mexico. And that's going to be spreading rainfall across the state of Florida to begin things off with here. So we're going to be looking at that rainfall and those thunderstorms across Florida. So we're going to be looking at several inches of rain over the next several days here. But eventually that weather system is going to slide back toward the west. This sort of tropical wave is going to make its way towards the west central Gulf of Mexico, and that's going to spread rainfall and moisture later in the week over Texas, the Gulf Coast, towards Louisiana and Mexico as well. We're going to be seeing some heavy rainfall shift a little bit over toward the west. And as we talk about what we're going to be seeing across Florida, and this is going to be into your day on Saturday, look at that heavy rain, that area of low pressure there just off the coast of southwestern Florida near Naples there. We are going to be looking at rainfall across much of the Florida peninsula, over from central Florida down to the Florida Keys and out over the Bahamas as well. We're going to be seeing some of those showers, and some of those showers and storms will also affect parts of Cuba and Jamaica. We could see some showers and thunderstorms. So if you are cruising down in the Caribbean, be watchful. You're going to have to deal with some of that rainfall over the Caribbean as well. And I still keep having issues with blurry camera, so we're going to work through the blurry camera situation. And here is that rainfall, that rainstorm impacts over from that tropical rains across the state of Florida. And much of that rainfall is over southwestern Florida, the Florida Everglades and southwestern Florida. So Fort Myers and Naples, we're going to be looking at heavy rainfall amounts. Sarasota as well. A little bit less in the impact further on the east coast of Florida. So Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Boca Raton, the Palm Beaches, up to Delray Beach. We're going to see less of an impact. Still going to pick up quite a bit of rainfall, but a little bit less impactful than what we're going to be seeing over southwestern Mexico here, Florida here. I'm sorry, not Mexico, Florida. In central Florida, around Orlando, we're going to be seeing some of that heavy rain, but a little bit less impactful over that region as well. And then here we are. Here's your rainfall totals, and we're going to be looking at some areas picking up as much as 22 inches. So isolated areas here across southwestern Florida picking up as much as 22 inches. But for the general, or for the most part, we're going to be looking at anywhere from 2 inches to about 8 inches down across South Florida. So 2 to 8 inches is your average. Here is our area that we're going to look for the potential for tropical development, as well as that area of moisture that tropical wave makes its way across the Gulf of Mexico. This is the area where we see the greatest potential for tropical development into a depression. And this is typically where we start them off when we at the beginning of the tropical season. This is usually where we'll see the first initial developments of tropical depressions. Is it going to be across the southern areas of the Gulf of Mexico and the Western Caribbean? So the Yucatan Peninsula, Western Cuba, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, Mexico. In those regions we're going to be looking at for those impacts of heavy rain as we move into the weekend, and in the beginning of next week we're going to see that rainfall shift from Florida over to the western half of the Gulf of Mexico. And then we're going to be seeing that heavy rain eventually making its way into the Gulf of Mexico as we head into the weekend as well. We're going to be looking at that heavy rain and that tropical moisture and beginning to affect the Gulf of Mexico. And we're going to be seeing those impacts. It's going to be so looking for some flooding, some aerial flooding, as well as some flash flooding. And we're going to see travel delays, and we're going to also be seeing numerous areas where we're going to be looking at river flooding from the runoff from that heavy rain from those tropical downpours. And it's going to still be very warm as well. Usually with these types of setups, we're going to still be dealing with temperatures in the 80s. So very warm and very wet across the Gulf Coast. Again, look at that tropical moisture. And we're going to be seeing, as we head into next week, as that rainfall shift to the west, we're still going to see rain here in Florida, but we're going to see less rainfall across Florida, and the majority of that rainfall is going to shift toward the west here, the Gulf Coast, from New Orleans to Houston, across Texas, and into parts of northeastern Mexico along the Rio Grande River is where we're going to start to see that heavy rainfall. And we're going to be picking up at least 10 or more inches of rain. So some flooding rainfall here across the Gulf Coast as we head into the upcoming weekend and into next week. Here we are as we take a look at the Central America. Central America, we're going to be seeing a lot of moisture as well. So we're going to be keeping track of a lot of rainfall over the Yucatan Peninsula, Honduras, Guatemala, Nicaragua, as well as Costa Rica, and down into Panama as well. We're going to be seeing that heavy rainfall. At least the western end of Panama, we're going to be seeing lots of rainfall. That's going to lead to flash flooding and lots of river flooding, power outages as well. A lot of this area is not as developed as the United States, so it's going to be quite impactful, these copious amounts of rainfall. And then here is our area of interest as we're going to see over the next 7 days here. It's going to be right off the coast of Mexico, there just south of Acapulco. There we're going to be seeing the potential here for some tropical development, but it's going to be relatively low. But this is going to be our best bet for tropical anything happening as we head over the next 7 days. Here is the rainfall amounts over Central America as well from that tropical rainstorm that we're seeing over the Gulf of Mexico. And we're going to be seeing rainfall amounts in excess of 12 to 18 inches. Some areas might pick up as much as 30 inches of rain. So lots of rainfall along the tropics and the Central and Southern Mexico and the Gulf as we head through the next 7 to 10 days. Severe weather is going to be possible again, as well as we do have some short waves moving across the Central Plains. So we're going to see a marginal risk for severe thunderstorms through your Tuesday and Tuesday night here across the Central and Southern Texas here. So if you are over from St. Louis, from Dallas, Fort Worth, westward towards West Texas. We're going to see that potential there for some severe thunderstorms. So some isolated severe, we're going to be seeing some brief downpours, damaging winds in excess of 70 miles per hour, large hail, and a few isolated tornadoes is going to be possible across the central Texas as we head into your afternoon and evening hours tonight. And then tomorrow, we're going to see that severe weather focus shift way up to the north into my neck of the woods here in Minnesota. We're going to be seeing that a pretty significant risk for severe thunderstorms. So we're going to have a slight risk for severe thunderstorms from Minneapolis southward to the I-90 corridor and the border with Iowa. So we're going to be seeing, so I-35 into near Des Moines there, we're going to be seeing a slight risk for severe thunderstorms. That's going to be tomorrow and tomorrow night. Large hail, downpours, isolated tornadoes, damaging winds that could reach in excess of 80 miles per hour is going to be possible. Again, with that very active day expected here across the upper Midwest. And it's been very quiet across this region. We've had a few rounds of thunderstorms, but not much yet in the way of severe weather. But we're definitely going to see a bigger threat for severe weather tomorrow, which probably will be our most significant threat that we've seen so far this late spring, early summer. That severe weather threat, it then shifts across the Corn Belt as we head further into the week. So Thursday and into Thursday night, a marginal risk for severe thunderstorms will extend across the Corn Belt from parts of Ohio through Indiana, Illinois, through Iowa, Missouri, and then across the Central Plains as well, Nebraska, Kansas, eastern Colorado, eastern Wyoming as well. We're going to see the risk for severe thunderstorms. So hail and downpours, localized damaging winds, about 60 to 65 miles per hour. Isolated scenarios where we can see winds in excess of 75 miles per hour. Tornadoes are not going to be a big threat today with this activity, but always an isolated tornado is always going to be possible, but that's not the main threat that we're looking for with this round of severe weather. And we're going to see that severe weather shift to the northeast as we head into your Friday and into Friday evening. We're going to see a slight risk, a marginal risk for severe thunderstorms into New England and through parts of the Northeast. So New York City down through Philadelphia, Washington, Boston, Portland. We're going to see a potential for some severe thunderstorms, downpours and hail, damaging winds in excess of 60 miles per hour, and isolated wind gusts to 75 miles per hour is certainly going to be possible. So some active weather is headed your way as we head closer to the weekend this week if you're in the Northeast and New England. Boy, this camera is really bugging me, and I think it's the lights that do it. Sometimes it does it, sometimes it don't, but I really think it's the lighting that affects the camera. And we're going to start to see more situations where as we head into mid-June through mid-July, this is going to become a forecast for more of our scenarios of severe weather. As we head through the next month here, we're going to see more thunderstorms across the Dakotas, Minnesota, Iowa, the Corn Belt, towards the parts of the Mid-Atlantic and parts of the Appalachians as well. This is where we're going to see more of our tornado threat and severe weather threat over the next month. So we're going to have that heat building in again. So we're going to start to see that heat build in across the western half of the U.S. into the desert Southwest. Triple-digit heat is going to be pretty prevalent across the Southwest into Nevada as well. We're going to see some instances of triple-digit heat making it into Wyoming, Colorado, into Idaho, and the eastern portions of Oregon and Washington. on the leeward side of the Cascade Mountain Range, we're going to see that hot weather begin to build in as we head through the next 7 days. And it's going to be very dry as well, so the fire risk will also increase with those low dew points and humidities. We're going to see warmer and drier weather as we head through Thursday across the east, out ahead of that round of severe weather. And then we're going to see that potential for severe weather as we head into your Friday evening there in the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic states. But then after that, so as we head through next week, June 17th through the 24th, high amplitude ridge builds in out east. So we're going to see things warm up in the Great Lakes and the Northeast. The first official heat wave for the Northeast will kick in next week. So get ready for that as we see those temperatures soar into the 90s. Some areas could even see triple-digit heat. And that is your weather forecast for today. My name is Dooley Godot, your weather forecaster. Thank you for joining me today. Again, leave those likes, comments, subscribe to the channel, YouTube, and TikTok. I will be back again tomorrow with another weather forecast for you guys. Bye-bye. Have a great day.